Hi there, Stampers. This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. Welcome to today's live. I go live every Monday and Thursday here on YouTube and Facebook, showing you guys some sort of a fun fold card. And I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so of course all the supplies I'm using are from Stampin' Up! And can be purchased in my online store. Today, we're doing this really fun pop-up. It's a twist and pop card, or a twist and pop panel card. And I've done several of them before, and I just thought we would revisit it because I recently released book 2 of my Fun Fold tutorial book. There's 50 patterns in each volume, and I have 2 of them. So there's 100 different patterns, and this is just one of them out of volume 2. And so I thought I would show you how it's done. So let me move you down onto my desk and we'll get started. Okay, so here is the book. And like I said, you can get it in a downloaded version as a PDF, or you can buy it printed. And then within there is the full measurements, the directions, and then some diagrams with all the measurements, and then some photos of what the card looks like finished. And that can be purchased in my online store, which is the queenbeecreations.net/store. And there's the books, and then there's some other tutorials in there as well. So I appreciate those of you who have been supporting me and have been so excited about this book, because I am too. We're using the Unbounded Love Suite, and which are 2 series paper plus the embellishments. It's just a huge suite of products that all work together very well and coordinate with one another. And so we're using the 2 bundles that go with it, Unbounded Love and the Flowers of Beauty. And then I wanted a little bit extra, so I pulled out Spotlight on Nature. And I almost didn't get this stamp set. I absolutely loved the dies and almost bought them by themselves because they're basic shapes, they're circles, they have these really cute patterns on the outside. And I thought, you know, it's a flower, it's a butterfly, I have those. But I've been so surprised how often I use this stamp set. It's been really helpful. And we're using that today as well for the butterfly over here. To get started on this card, we're going to start with a card base that is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Okay, so this is just a half a sheet of cardstock cut in half and scored in half, but we ended up with it being long ways. And then I cut the designer series paper for the front, and these ones I did 4 by 5 1/4. And then I thought I wanted something to give a little more depth on the outside edge. So I cut this piece at 3 3/4 by 5. And then I put it on there and I thought, okay, I like that, but we can go one step further. And I gave it the little bit of white around the outside edge. So that piece is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And it gives you the skinny border. You could, of course, if you don't like the 8ths, you could do 4 by 5 1/4 and just be a little bit wider. It's up to you, but you can decorate the front however you wish. I also had decided that this kind of got lost a little bit in there. I thought this one would stand out better than it did. So this time I brought in my deckled rectangle dies. And I think I'm going to put that down first and then put that over it, and we'll decorate it. I think that's going to give us a little more pop for the front of our card. So that's just one of the deckled rectangles in Berry Burst. This is 4 by 2 3/4 approximately is what I started with. Of course, this is Pretty in Pink. I pulled this, which is Berry Burst, out of our designer series paper. Then I have 2 pieces of white that are 4 by 5 1/4. Then I have a piece of Pretty in Pink that is 2 1/2 by 8. That's going to be our inside pop-up mechanism. Oh, and then we're going to need another piece. I'll grab that. We're going to need the piece that's going to pop up and go across the front. I forgot to cut this piece here. I've got the little pieces that are going to go on it, and these are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And again, you could give this an extra layer of depth if you wanted to add another color underneath of it. You could make a colored cardstock 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and then your whites 2 by 2. I've done that on a couple of them. But that piece there, our panel that's going to go across, ten by 2 1/2. Okay, since we know this is 11, I can cut 1 inch off of it, and that'll make it 10. And then we're going to score this every 2 inches, right? No, 2 1/2 inches. We're going to go 2 1/2, 5. And then we would open that up, or I'm going to pull this over and put this score line at 2 1/2, which would put the end over here at 7 1/2. Or you could just flip it this way and go 2 1/2 that way. But we're basically cutting this into 4 even 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 panels. Now for the piece that's going to be the pop-up mechanism that's going to hold up this piece right here, the piece that's giving us that action movement, that's coming out of this piece here, which was 8 by 2 1/2. So what I'm going to start out with is I'm going to score this at 1 1/4, right down the middle, long ways. Then I'm going to set this in my trimmer at 2 3/4. And then I'm going to mark it with a pencil. And then you can come over to 5 1/4, or you could just flip it around and do the 2 3/4 once again from this side. But now that we have those 4 marks, what I want to do is score between them. So I'm going to put this score mark and this tick mark and that tick mark in the score tray. And I'm going to score between them. And then I'm going to flip it and do the other ones. And we're going to do that. So I've kind of made an X in the middle. Then we want to make sure that we're going to burnish really well on the score lines. So I'm going to start with the one in the middle. I'm going to go that way, and then I'm going to go this way. All right, then I want these two to go in, and it makes kind of an arrow. So I don't know if you guys caught that. But now that I have this X in the middle, I made the X all mountain folds, and the 2 down the middle, we're making that a valley fold. And then it's just going together like this. Then we're just going to burnish it some more. And I'm making sure it kind of just touches in the middle, but it's not overlapping. So that plus this is going to be our pop-up panels. Okay, does anybody have any questions? I know this is the part that confuses people, so I want to pause and see if anybody watching live has any questions about what we're doing. So I'm kind of scrolling backwards. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions yet. Thank you to everyone who is entering hashtag Prize Patrol. That is how you get entered into the drawing. At the end of the live video, what I'm going to do is spin a wheel. I have the computer in the background collecting the name of everybody who enters hashtag Prize Patrol, and then we're going to spin the wheel, and somebody's going to win a card today that I will send them in the mail. Okay, I'm going to take one of these, and I'm just going to decorate it with a strip of Designer Series paper, just because I like to bring some of the outside of the card inside. I like it to look like it coordinates. And then I'm going to use seal to put these panels in the inside of our card. And I only put about, an inch, inch and a quarter in each section because you don't need a lot of this adhesive. It is fairly strong. And so a little goes a long way. Okay, now that I have the two white panels on the inside, now we're looking at this score line. And what I want to do is take our little arrow fold that we did, and I want to point that in the middle. And I want it to butt up into the score line, but I don't want it to interfere with it closing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some adhesive, and we can use liquid glue, tear and tape, but something strong that will hold this in place, because we don't want that to move. This is going to get a lot of movement, and so we don't want to be skimpy with the glue. We want to use a good quality glue. I don't want to say use a whole lot of it, but use a good quality glue. Okay, now that I've got one, that I'm just going to hold it together, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to add some adhesive. And then we're going to close it. And I'm just trying to give it a little bit of time to dry. So let's move over to our panels and do a little bit of stamping. So these pieces, there's 4 of them. And because this was 2.5 by 2.5 each panel, so these are going to be 2.25 by 2.25. Because my base is Pretty in Pink, I'm going to use Pretty in Pink ink. So I'm using the butterfly out of the Spotlight on Nature. I'm going to put that one there. Then over on this side, what I'm going to do is I die cut some little leaves, and then I stamped this flower. And when I stamped the flower, I used these 2 stamps here. I used both of them with Pretty in Pink ink. I inked up the outline, and then I stamped it full strength. Then I inked up this one, and I stamped it off on scrap paper and then stamped it onto my project. And by doing it as a 2-step stamping like that and stamping off, it's called a second generation stamping, and it makes it just a little bit lighter. So it almost looks like I stamped in 2 colors, even though I only used 1 pad. And you'll notice the little leaves are in Flowers of Beauty, and these little leaves almost match it. But these leaves are actually out of the Unbounded Love dies. It's this one right here. So that might confuse people a little bit because I instantly went to the Flowers of Beauty and I thought, where's those little leaves? You know, there's some leaves in here, but they're bigger and different. I wanted the little ones, and they were in the other set of dies. So just a heads up, don't get confused like I did. So I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back. And then this has adhesive sheet on the back, so it's kind of sticky. So then that's going to stick onto this last panel over here. Then I have Happy Birthday. And may all your wishes come true. So how's everyone doing? Have you been crafting a lot lately? I've noticed I've been crafting a little more than usual just because I'm not a fan of the heat. And our weather guy today on the radio was saying that it's going to be in these low for the next. I thought it's been hot already for that long. My Echo Show up here keeps telling me every day there's either a new weather alert or an air quality alert because of all of the fires around us. The air quality is pretty poor in the area. So I've been spending a lot of time inside. And it seems like everybody's hot. It's not just us, it's everywhere. I don't like it. I'm ready for fall. I mean, I'm okay with the 80s, but the hundreds, I'm not a fan. Okay, so now this part, I want it to stretch across. And then it's going to fold up and go together. So what I want to do is I want it to adhere on the bottom over here and on the top over here. Is that making sense? Because I want it to twist and fold up into itself. And it's not going to do that if they're both on the top or they're both on the bottom. It's not going to close. So we need one on the top and one on the bottom. And again, you want to use a very strong adhesive. And you want to make sure it's good and attached. So maybe even take the bone folder and burnish the back side. Make sure that glue is good and stuck. And that was top. So I need this one to be bottom. Okay, now when it closes, can you see how that's twisting into itself? Karen said she loves fun fold cards. Me too. If you haven't noticed. That's why I have those 2 books out. Have you bought my book yet? Either one of them? I had someone tell me that they had a file folder with lots of printouts and things of all the different cards they'd saved, and they were able to go through there and throw a bunch of papers away because now they're all nice and neat in the spiral bound book. Okay, so this was just a deckled rectangle die. And I put that on there, and then I had a piece, here we go, that I had die cut out of white. So this is basic white cardstock with adhesive sheet on the back. This is one of the dies out of the Flowers of Beauty die set. And once I pull the adhesive sheet off, now it's just a sticker. And then I die cut the little flowers. And I just have a whole bunch of them because they come in a strip. So there's two sizes of flowers, some bigger ones and some small ones. I just did the small ones. And I did them with adhesive sheet. So all I have to do is peel off the backing, and then there's stickers. And this is Pretty in Pink and Petunia Pop. Again, those are some colors out of the designer series paper. Whenever I'm doing a project, I usually look at the designer series paper, and on the back side is a label for what colors are in that. I don't believe there's an individual tutorial for this card. I'd have to look, but I know I did mention in the very beginning that it's included in my book, in the Fun Fold Tutorials book, volume 2. And there's 50 patterns in here, and the digital is $50. So it works out to $1 a pattern. So I think it's pretty reasonable considering. And then you can have it printed and bound and shipped to you. And so that brings it up to, I don't know, $69.50, I think, but that's just my cost on it. It's $19.50 minimum to have it printed and shipped. I'm not making any money off of that. I just know that it's handy to have the spiral bound book. So I'm just putting a bunch of random flowers on here. I'm probably too symmetrical, so let's put another pink on this side. Purple up here. Okay. And then I thought it needed a little something extra, so I brought in the Rhinestone Basic Jewels. And then I'm using the Take Your Pick tool on the putty end, and it needed a little extra putty, so I gave it a little bit of a squeeze to tighten it out till it started oozing. And then I back it off kind of half of a turn so it stops oozing, because otherwise it will continue to ooze until there's nothing left. And then you just push down on the jewel and slide, and it'll pick it up. Then you can bring it over to your project and set it down. Oops. And then I have them stored in this gum container. These are at the checkout stands at the grocery store when they have those packs of gum that are like 35 sticks. That's what that case is. And then I just use my label maker on the end. So when I set them in the drawer, I can read from the edge what's in each one. But there is our Twist and Pop panel card. So has everybody put in hashtag prize patrol? That is how you get entered into the drawing to win one of these cards. It's sent in the mail to you. I'm getting ready to spin that wheel. So now's your last chance to get that typed in there. I need it spelled just like everybody else has been doing it, with the hashtag prize patrol all run together as one word. No spaces. And then I do know what we're doing on, oops, come on. Sorry. There we go. I do know what we're doing on Monday is we're doing this Pretty Pleats card. So it just looks like a simple card on the outside, but on the inside it's got a pleat. And this one has the single pleat, and I'm going to do another one with 12 by 12 paper that has multiple pleats in the middle. But it's a simple on the outside, pretty on the inside, just like we did today. And that will be Monday's card. So let me share the wheel, and we will see who today's winner is. So there we go. Loretta is our winner. Congratulations, Loretta. You know the drill. You're going to want to go to my website, queenbeecreations.net, and then up there in the address bar, you're going to add /prize patrol, and that's going to take you to the claim form where you can claim your prize and give me the address where you would want it mailed to. And then that other address where it's queenbeecreations.net/store, that's where you can find the tutorials. So thank you to everyone for joining me, and I will see you back here on Monday for another fun fold card. Thank you so much. Bye.